who had such a positive impact on our community. And our first speaker is of the same cloth. He is leading us currently and will continue to lead us forward in a very positive way. He's all about bringing people together. He spearheaded this today. He's the one who said, we're going to make this happen. And it's interesting in that when I say bringing people together, I'm talking about the Metro Council, the leaders in state government in Frankfurt, the leaders in Washington, all of them because of him and his ability with people and his love for Louisville. He brings them under the umbrella. And it's impacted us positively in a financial way, as far as the feelings about Louisville, the city. And so much is going on, folks. We could spend an entire day talking about everything positive that's going here in Louisville. And it's happening because of this man. So please welcome the mayor of our great city, our great mayor, Mayor Craig Greenberg.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is a wonderful day to be a Cards fan, isn't it? Let's go Cards. Well, this has been absolutely wonderful to be here in Cardinal Park, to celebrate so much about where we are today as a university. President Bradley, Josh, to all of the amazing coaches that are here, to the entire team, to all of the fans who are here. I mean, just think about this past year alone. Coach McDonnell, wonderful. Coach Kelsey, what a year, and I know this year we're even more excited. And as we all know, UofL athletics is so much more than just about baseball and basketball and football right now. You look at what's going on in volleyball and track and field just a few weeks ago, and swimming and soccer and tennis and so many other sports. It is a wonderful time to be a Cardinal fan. And all of this success is happening in the world of college sports that's rapidly changing every week, it seems. So it just felt like right now is the perfect time for us to all step back as Cards fans, step back for a moment and reflect on how we got here. Think back to 1997. It was a tough time to be a Cards fan at that time. I remember it well. UofL football had lost 10 of 11 games and was winless in Conference USA. Do you all even remember we were in Conference USA? Men's basketball, Coach Kelsey, finished 12-20 and missed the NCAA tournament. A disappointing season after making the Elite Eight a year before. And in comes our new athletic director, Tom Jurich. A relatively newcomer at the time, I think, Tom, to college athletics, and definitely a newcomer to this part of the country. Tom had spent his whole career out west in Arizona and Colorado. But as you just heard, and as we all know, Tom had big plans for University of Louisville athletics. And for Tom, it started and it finished with hiring great people. And we were all so fortunate that the next 2 decades saw Tom hiring legendary coaches and a legendary athletic team to come to Louisville under his leadership. From Strong to McDonnell, to Busboom Kelly to Waltz, to Hermann, to Patino, and so many more, Tom, you always had a wonderful eye for talent. And most of you all know that. And most of you all here today definitely know the story that back in 2001, when Coach Patino was going to take the job at the University of Michigan, but at the last minute turned them down to come right here to the University of Louisville. And when he was asked why, he said, "I could not say no to Tom Jurich." And so when we think back on Tom's legacy, one of his other greatest achievements beyond the people whom he worked with were certainly the facilities. In the 2 decades of Tom's leadership, UofL invested nearly $300 million in its sports facilities. And those include the world-class facilities that we're still succeeding on today for golf, rowing, baseball and softball, lacrosse, soccer, track and field, the Young Center, and the list goes on and on. Tom taught us that in order to achieve success on the field, you have to invest in the facilities, and we're sitting amongst them right now. And speaking of success on the field, Cardinal athletics teams and athletes under Tom's leadership saw 67 conference championships, 42 conference tournament titles, 30 academic All-Americans, 4 College World Series appearances, 3 men's Final Four, 2 women's Final Four, 2 BCS wins, a Heisman Trophy, and I don't care what anyone else says, a national championship in college basketball. Tom, you and your teams brought more hardware back home to Louisville than any Home Depot has altogether. And shortly after transitioning the university into the Atlantic Coast Conference, Tom was selected by his peers for an incredibly well-deserved honor, the National Athletic Director of the Year in 2007. So with all of that amazing history, with the contributions to UofL athletics, what all of that meant for the city, when a group of Cards fans approached me about finding a way to honor Tom and his incredible career at UofL, we got to work. And just like Tom always gives credit to the team around him, I think it's so important to note that today's event would not happen without so many great individuals who all agreed that now was the time to honor Tom. I want to thank all of my colleagues at Louisville Metro Government who have worked with me to help make this happen. And I especially want to thank Dr. Bradley and Josh Heird and their team at UofL and UofL Athletics for coming together for bringing together, Tom, your family, your friends, support from all across the city to make today happen. And it's so wonderful that this is a homecoming, Tom, for you and Tara Lynn and your entire family as well, to all be joining us here today in this special celebration. Thank you all for your support of UofL and the city for so many years yourself. You know, one of Tom's most admirable things is his love for his family that's with us here today. And he's accomplished so much in his career, as you just heard and as you all know. But I know, from being a good friend of Tom, that nothing makes him more proud than having 4 generations of the Jurich family here today to celebrate alongside all of us. So we have an incredible program here today with a special unveiling coming up shortly. So to get it all started, I'd first like to welcome Robin Taylor from Senator Mitch McConnell's office, who couldn't join us here today because he's up in Washington still taking some votes. But Robin, please join us to say a few words. There you go, Robin. To say a few words on behalf of Senator McConnell.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and good morning. What a great day. This is an amazing turnout. Tom, it's nice to see you. Senator McConnell, I can assure you, would rather be nowhere else than right here today to celebrate you. But unfortunately, he couldn't be here today because of, as the mayor mentioned, some tough votes in Washington today. One of the ways that we honor people in the U.S. Senate is through a tribute in the Congressional record. And I will say that when we do that, that record lives in the Senate history forever. So Tom, when Senator McConnell heard about this event today, he wanted to honor you himself and couldn't be here. So I'm going to read a little bit of this tribute and then would like to present it to you on the Senator's behalf. Mr. President, as a University of Louisville sports fan, Saturday, June 28, 2025 is going to be a memorable day for me. My friend and Louisville legend, Tom Jurich, is receiving a long overdue honor from the university he helped build into a national sports powerhouse. From 1997 to 2017, Tom served as athletic director for UofL, my alma mater. During those 20 years, I witnessed firsthand his work to build an athletic department that is one of the best in the country. And on Saturday, he will make his first visit back to campus for a celebration on the street lined with the sports facilities he made possible, Floyd Street. The University of Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg, and many of Tom's family and friends will commemorate him by renaming a portion of Floyd Street as Tom Jurich Way. I wish I could be there in person to celebrate my friend, but I know that he and his family and all those that love him will cherish the memories that he helped create at the University of Louisville. As Tom told a local reporter in 2023, I just wanted Louisville to become a destination, not a place you passed through, but one people aimed for. Well, Tom got his wish, and now that destination takes us to Tom Jurich Way. There's a lot more that I won't read, but I will read the inscription at the bottom. It says, Tom, thanks for transforming U of L athletics. Mitch McConnell.
Thank you so much, Robin, and thank you so much to Senator McConnell, who we all know is a giant Cards athletics fan. Next, I'd like to introduce another wonderful leader. Someone who, just like when Tom arrived here in 1997, is relatively new to his job, but has big plans for the future of U of L athletics and the entire University of Louisville campus, student body, everything that makes up the University of Louisville. Someone who has great wisdom, who has fallen in love with the university in this city in his few years here, who has great energy, a commitment and a dedication to this university and our city, and someone who has hit the ground running in his new job. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the president of the University of Louisville, Dr. Gerry Bradley.
Thank you so much. What a day. Good morning, everyone. I'm only a few months in my tenure, 3 months actually on Thursday, but to be here this morning at this event, I am fully aware of what an important day this is for our great university and for this wonderful community. Being able to welcome Tom and his family back to campus and celebrating the amazing success that he has had is a great opportunity. It reminds, to see all the Cardinal fan base here coming together is so, uplifting for the campus, for the community, and just, what a wonderful day. Tom, I hope you know how important you are to the history of U of L and to this community. What you did to heighten awareness, increase interest, and grow the success of the Cardinal Athletic Program is beyond compare. At U of L, we consider athletics to be our front door. It's how people get to know about us. It's critical to student recruitment, retention, and engagement. You took us to a level we never had seen before, and we are so thankful for your achievements here. Your success is not limited to wins on the playing field. You also set a high bar for our student athletes in the classroom, and they more than met the challenge. You helped lead our move into the ACC, which meant that our students and faculty had the opportunity for collaborative work with peers and other institutions who were at the top of their fields. You inspired donor community to get involved with the university, and you led the investment and development at U of L that we had never seen before. An ongoing part of your legacy is that these first-grade facilities on Floyd Street and our student athletes who use them and train every day to compete and to be the best for themselves and their teammates. So thanks to you and your family for all you have done to build this campus and this community. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're home. And we're glad you've always been true to the Cardinals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Bradley. You know, occasionally, by occasionally I mean about every day, people will say to me as I'm going around the community, you have the hardest job in our city. Why are you in this job? And every time I hear that, I often think, that's not true. I love this job. This is a great honor. It's a great privilege. And while it is challenging, it is incredibly rewarding. And I know that I do not have the hardest job in the city of Louisville. The hardest job in the city of Louisville is held by a couple folks in this front row right here, particularly the athletic director of the University of Louisville. There are more experts in this city that know they can be a better athletic director than there are people in this city. But we at the University of Louisville are so fortunate to have someone like Josh Heird as our athletic director today in this incredibly challenging time of university athletics, in this incredibly challenging city where winning is demanded, in this incredibly challenging city that wants the best for its sports teams, for its athletes, for its university and the city. We are so fortunate to have my good friend as the athletic director of the University of Louisville. Please join me in welcoming Josh Heird.
It's a dry heat. Man. What a day. What an incredible, incredible day. Tom, Tara Lynn, your entire family. So excited that you're back here at the University of Louisville. Before I get started here, I do want to just acknowledge a few folks. Lottie, Rocco, Keith, Michael, everybody on the University of Louisville Athletic Department staff, thank you for everything that you've done to make this day great. Where's Kenny? Kenny, you're like Kramer. You don't work here, so we can't fire you. There he is. Unbelievable job, Kenny. Unbelievable job. To Mayor Greenberg, Dana Mayton, John Ramsey, Mike, everybody in the mayor's office, thanks so much for making this a reality. This is a truly, truly special day. And I'm going to read my remarks here just because I know when there's some emotion involved, I need to stick to the script here. So that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, truly an honor to be here today. Tom, Tara Lynn, your entire family. Let me start by simply saying thank you. You dedicated 20 years of your life to making this athletic department, this university, and this city better. You had countless opportunities to leave because those around the country noticed the impact you were having in Louisville, but you never did. You stayed committed to making this place great. And for that, we all owe you a huge debt of gratitude. Thank you for all you did. The naming of Floyd Street is such an appropriate honor. Your impact on this university was so much more than facilities, but there is no better visual of how large your influence was than the drive down Tom Jurich Way.
Yeah.
For anyone who visits this campus and this city, Jurich Way is a true showcase and the front porch for the University of Louisville. Yes, your legacy is in the buildings, the championships won, and most importantly, the people who have been touched by your leadership and friendship. But I sincerely believe your most lasting impact at the University of Louisville was securing the invitation to the prestigious Atlantic Coast Conference. It changed the trajectory of the athletics department and of this institution. Getting to the ACC was the result of your vision that included the hiring of great staff, the hiring of great coaches, giving them the resources to be successful, your unrelenting support of women's sports, building tremendous facilities, and fostering of long-term relationships with world-class brands like Adidas and Gatorade. This athletic department was a member of Conference USA when you arrived in 1997, but your vision transitioned us to the Big East, a perfect home at the time, and then to the American, and eventually to the ACC. There were 5, and now there are 4 sought-after neighborhoods in college athletics. The University of Louisville is living in one of those prestigious neighborhoods because of your leadership. Once again, thank you. I cannot begin to recap the countless memories that were created for fans and student athletes under your watch. Whether it was a national championship in men's basketball, multiple Final Fours in men's and women's basketball, College World Series appearances in baseball, BCS Bowl victories in football, individual national championships in track and swimming, too many conference championships to count, and so much more. No Louisville fan will ever forget the year of the Cardinal. Every Louisville fan has their own best memories, but there would be a lot less great memories to choose from if it wasn't for your leadership. Lastly, on a more personal note, I would be remiss if I did not take a moment to personally and publicly thank you for all you did for my family and my career. You gave me my first opportunity in college athletics. You put up with a lot of mistakes I made during my 10 years working for you. You helped and supported me as I was trying to get the job at Villanova. So for me and Abby, thank you. In closing, I hope the honorary naming of Tom Jurich Way will serve as a reminder of the influence you had on the university and the city. You had a profound impact on the Louisville community, the college athletics industry, and the lives of so many student athletes, coaches, and staff. So on behalf of the University of Louisville Athletic Department, it will always be an honor to drive down Tom Jurich Way and be reminded of your commitment and impact to the University of Louisville.
One more time, show your appreciation for our athletic director, Josh Heird. Every great leader needs a strong right hand. And my next speaker worked with Tom for 16 years. Batman and Robin, and there are some days I'm sure that Tom would say she was Batman. But certainly, she's someone I admire, and anyone who knows her admires her greatly. A leader in her own right, no question about it. She is Senior Woman Administrator under Tom Jurich. Please welcome Julie Hermann.
Good morning. It's such an incredible privilege to be here, and the truth is, I got to be, and I'm going to be reading through my notes soon for the same reason Josh did, because this is really personal for us. So I'm the luckiest woman in college sports, especially because when Tom called me and said, would you please come interview for this job, I showed up in a lovely blue suit. And we got to the end of that day, and he said, nice blue suit, and I said, oh, thank you. He picked me up the next morning and I had on an even bluer suit. And that night when he dropped me off, he goes, hey, how many blue suits do you have? I said 2, and he goes, okay, I'll pick you up in the morning. I don't know to this day if I'd said I had 3rd if he'd have just taken me to the airport or not, but I became the luckiest person in the world to gain the privilege to get to work right next to Tom every single day, all day long. Now, these aren't really attractive, but they are on sale at Lowe's. I can tell you expressly who Tom Jurich is, and to everyone who's ever asked me for the last 27 years, what's it like to work for Tom, I've said the same thing. Most people work a lifetime and never get to work for someone like Tom. Here's why. Tom is a man of impeccable integrity, a man of unparalleled honor, passionate and focused daily on making certain that everyone around him is successful. Tom is always clear. He's completely present. He sets the highest possible standards for himself and everyone around us. He envisions and then sets goals that no one else, I'm telling you, no other AD in the country would have had the audacity to imagine, let alone know the way to make them come to life, and he did. Tom believed that the chance to play for the Cardinals or work for the Cardinals was a privilege for each and every one of us. He expected that we embrace it with pride, humility, class, and integrity every single day at all times. Tom empowers you, affirms you, stands beside you to give credit, stands in front of you when a shot's coming over the bow, and there are a lot of shots over the bow per the mayor's point. Everybody else knows how to coach better than we do. He absolutely will take a bullet for you. He'll take a Mack truck for you, and he has. It's why the top coaches in the country want to work for Tom. It's why they want to be in his bunker. Many of you know Tom, and some of you know Tom very well. But if you've never been in the bunker with him, you've never seen him at his absolute best. He is renowned for hiring great talent. But more importantly, he is personally and professionally involved with setting the tone with each and every coach and provides mastery in leadership. Tom is a force for his coaches, head coaches, and if you're a head coach for the Cardinals, will you do me a favor and stand up for a second and give us a wave? Where are our head coaches? Incredibly difficult jobs, almost impossible today. Head coaches make 100 decisions a day, and they don't even realize 90 of them, but they make 100 decisions a day that affect the health and the outcomes of our programs. Tom constantly reinforced, reassured, do not cut any corners, take the time and build it right. Raise your hand if you heard that. I heard it probably 1,000 times. Tom was a tireless recruiter for his coaches. Parents trusted him. So many amazing young people that we got to watch, transformative athletes over the year, whether it was Teddy or Lamar or Angel or Peyton, that list goes on. He sealed those deals. He convinced those students to come here because he doesn't sell, he connects. It's how they knew they had made the right decision to become a Cardinal. Tom's presence, his energy, his confidence, his crystal clear leadership is why the Cardinals competed for and won so many titles. From the minute that Tom landed in Louisville in 1997, he came to work every day with the intent to do as much as he could do, for as many as he could do, as fast as he could possibly do it every single day. That's how all of this came to life, his tireless work ethic. Thank you. We now all get to enjoy the mayor just said $300 million worth of facilities, stadiums, arenas, and parks that were constructed at his express direction. Brilliantly designed to support the needs of the students, the fans, the university, and our community at large. Every single thing we built had to be able to host an NCAA championship, and this is a game changer for coaches. The chance to play at home somewhere along the way in that tough run to playing for a title is game changing. Huge advantage. It also helped our community with heads and beds. Am I the only one that knows what that means? Heads and beds. The economic impact from these facilities is now in the billions, and the reason that I know that is I think before we went to the Big East, we did an economic impact study, and at that time, we were over $200 million a year in our economic impact for this city, and half of these facilities weren't even built yet, so we're in the billions now. All the way to the Young Center, each of these structures and parks was a massive labor of love. From the Young Center to the fairgrounds, all of this has changed how America sees Louisville, because this is 100 million impressions a year up and down I-65. By the way, if you haven't seen the rowing center, you're missing one of the coolest things he ever did. He could have built a square box for them. He didn't, and he never does. We were never allowed to break ground on anything that wasn't very, very special. Because of this, still today, our collective facilities are the envy of the NCAA membership and the nation. These are the things that you see today, but as the mayor said when he arrived, we were being sued by Conference USA. We were 1-10 in football. He had to oversee the completion of a football stadium that was underfunded by tens of millions of dollars, and no one had even thought about paving a parking lot. We were under the deepest cloud of NCAA enforcement for major violations, as you may remember. We were embroiled in a threatening Title IX audit, insisting we immediately drop opportunities for men. If I remember correctly, we only had 8 shower heads for 200 women, but only one of them worked. Tom walked us through all of this seamlessly and in record time. His reputation largely kept us from the NCAA's worst penalties. He never cut a single sport or reduced a single roster as all of his peers would have done. Instead, he added 4 women's sports, 3 in 1 year, which had never happened in the NCAA and never been accomplished. He upgraded the other 9 women's sports and became a national leader in opportunities for women. He created a roadmap to the conference that would allow our football team to get to play on New Year's Day, and we did. I can tell you that the then commissioner of the Big East, had no idea when he first sat down with Tom that Louisville would become his #1 choice in realignment, and that soon he'd be asking Tom who to bring with him. As you know, we did not just join the Big East. We did a Big East takeover, winning as many, if not I think more titles than Notre Dame. We had to go to so many championships, and it requires an administrator. I think that's why we had to hire Josh, because Josh and I were just road doggies going from championship to championship, making sure our teams behaved, right? Nice work. You're in charge of Jeff Walls now. So he again, soon, because of the evolution of college sports, had to strategically move us to the front of the line to become a Power 5, now Power 4 conference. He didn't just get us into a conference, he got us into the dream conference, the perfect fit for all 24 of our sports. Had we ended up in the Big 12, 3 of our sports would have been orphaned. Instead, we end up in the ACC, which is a perfect fit for us, and eyes on sets. You knew that the eyes that watch sports are in the East, they're not in the West, and so all the media money is going to be out there. So the ACC became the perfect fit, and it was a miracle that we got in. It also, as Josh said, elevated the university dramatically, forever changing the academic trajectory of the University of Louisville. When I had a moment with the ACC commissioner, I thanked him for selecting us, and he said, "Julie, we picked Tom. We believe in Tom." We knew then in 2012, this was the last seat on the last train leaving the station. Had the ACC not selected us, Louisville would still be in the group of 5 today. When somebody writes this story, Kenny, Nancy, of Tom's 500 phone calls to get us in, it will be an amazing read. If there was a book, if there was a Tom Jurich book, chapter 1 would say, raise the bar. Chapter 2 would be urgently implement. Chapter 3 would be it's go time. At the bottom of every page, it would say very quietly in small print, humble and hungry. The debt that Louisville owes Tom is immeasurable and it lives on. He refers to himself as a common man and every man. But the truth is, he's the most talented, inspired, passionate, focused, honest, visionary leader in the nation in college sports. He was trusted by his students, his staff, his coaches, by the NCAA. He is known, respected, and trusted by leaders of professional and college sports. No other AD in the country led their university through 3 transitions from the Big East to the American to the ACC. No other AD created a best-in-care system for his students from scratch. No other AD rigorously sought to exceed every single Title IX standard so that the daughters of Kentucky and the nation would have the same opportunities as our sons do. single sport that they sponsor to an unprecedented championship level in one generation. And while the coaches may not enjoy this, sorry, I love that if you're a Cardinal sport today, if your Cardinal sport is not playing for a conference title, a national championship berth, a college cup, a Final Four bid, or a national title, our fans are a little bit buggered wondering what your problem is. This across-the-board expectation, this standard, this brand was created in a 20-year dead sprint by Tom Jurich. In closing, I think I was probably in my 7th or 8th year before I ever had to get on an airplane, go in the exact same place with Tom in the seat next to him. And if you're an employee, you're like, oh, I'm sitting by the boss. And so I went to the newsstand, our sponsor, Brown. I went to the newsstand and I bought a Forbes magazine and my Time and Newsweek. We got on the jet and we were chatting away for 30 or 40 minutes, catching up on everything, and he goes, Jules, let's get some reading done. And I'm like, oh. So I reached down and I pulled out my Forbes magazine. I'm a businesswoman. And I look over and Tom has pulled out of his attaché 3 People magazines. I don't know why I didn't see that coming, but I kind of tease him. I go, really, People? He goes, oh, Jules. He goes, great articles. There's an article in here about an astronaut driving in a diaper all the way to Florida. I put my Forbes magazine away. You know, it was that day that I realized even a genius needs a mental break. And from that point on, you know, as anybody who's ever worked for Tom, he's in everybody's door jam every day, like all day long. He's like, what's going on? Tell me, talk to me. And so he knows everything that's going on in his department. And when he would pop in my office, like everybody else, I felt compelled to go, well, here's everything I've gotten done. And from that point on, I started, when he would say, what's going on? I would go, how are you? And what a lesson of a lifetime that was for me, because from that point on, Tom would share, here's what's going on, here's what I'm thinking through, here's what I've got to take care of, here's what, you know, here's my decision tree, here's what I need to think about. And that mastery and mentorship and leadership was so game-changing for me, just as a human on the planet, because you are truly my big brother, the most amazing person. I couldn't be more proud of you. Congratulations. I love you.
Julie Hermann. Real quick mention, and believe me, we could take all day because most of you have given very generously to the University of Louisville and helped us achieve things we continue to achieve today, and of course all of Cardinal Park and moving forward. But Mr. Patterson and his son Jim, thank you for attending. Dr. Mark Lynn and others, give yourselves a big round of applause. Thank you. Up next, you know, you talk about achievements. Everything he has done on the field speaks for itself. 6 College World Series. Whoa. Even better than that, if there was a Hall of Fame for great people, he'd be a first ballot inductee, no question about it. Please welcome the head coach of our baseball team, Dan McDonnell.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, and I think I can tie it all in. Don't worry, I think I am the last speaker before Mr. Jurich comes up here, so I appreciate everybody standing in the back. I know it's hot, but bear with us, we're almost done. I feel only fitting as the coach that I kind of wrap this up and share some stories. What's it like to be a coach under Tom Jurich, and share some of the experiences. I can first tell you, when I was coming for my interview, Tom said, don't wear a suit and a tie. And I thought, well, okay, no, I'm going to meet maybe the president and professors and deans, and I think I need to wear a suit and tie. So I called the secretary, I think it was Debbie Young, and I said, hey, Tom said, don't wear a suit and a tie. But he's just like saying that, right? Like, I gotta wear a suit and a tie. She said, Coach, do you want the job? And I said, well, I don't know, I haven't been to the campus yet, but I think so. She said, then don't wear a suit and a tie. And I showed up in a blazer, and to this day, I just always feel compelled when I wear a blazer and not a suit and a tie. Let me run through some stories quickly, and I think you'll enjoy them and you'll get a real perspective of who he is, just obviously as a leader, but more as a person. 6 months later, we're going to the Orange Bowl, and I get an email that says, Coach, you and your wife, Julie, are invited to attend the Orange Bowl with us. And I was like, wow. You know, I was an assistant coach for 14 years. I didn't know, like, head coaches get to do things like that. I've only been a head coach for like 6 months. But I respond with an email that says, thank you very much, but we got 2 boys, Jake and Justin. It's the Christmas season. I'm going to go visit family, and I really don't want to impose. And so I respond with, thank you, but I'm going to pass. Within about 30 minutes, I get a phone call from Tom's office, Debbie, and she says, hey, Coach, I spoke to Tom. You're going to the Orange Bowl. I said, okay. She said, your sons are coming. We're taking care of everything. Haley and Lacey will babysit your kids. And you're going to come and celebrate and enjoy this. And so I called Julie. I said, Julie, like, we're going to the Orange Bowl. And I learned 2 things on that trip to the Orange Bowl. One, when you do great things, you celebrate. And you celebrate others. And we talk a lot about others in athletics, and especially in our program. And I saw how Tom wanted to celebrate, but not just the football program. When I say celebrate others, man, it was for the fans, it was for the donors, it was for the boosters, it was for the friends. And so I saw, one, how you celebrate others, and if you hung out at that pool down there in Miami, you saw how much his friends like to drink. And man, it was a fun week at the Orange Bowl. Our first trip, a couple months later, we're going to Southern Miss. And opening day, we're playing Northwestern State in this little tournament. And Zach Pitts and Tristan Magnuson shut down Northwestern State. And Chris Dominguez hits a ball into the trees. Thank you, Lalo. Yeah. And so we win our first game. And I feel like, man, this is not that hard as a head coach. Like, come on, man. Like, just, make sure you post the lineup right and make sure they know what time the game is. So the next day we're playing Southern Miss. The host, the 10-10 game, which I call one of the great games in college baseball, the winner's bracket game of a regional. And we have the lead going into the 9th. And if you don't realize this, please, the last 3 innings on the road are like really tough to get. And so unfortunately, we give up a couple runs and we get walked off. And as their winning run is crossing home plate, it was a very heated, emotional game. Our hot-headed catcher, Derek Alfonso, thank you, Lalo, says something, and words exchange, and before you know it, the dugout's clear, and the bullpen's clear, and it's a melee on the field. Somehow I get caught up in the middle of it, hat sideways, cleats get ripped up, and just trying to break this thing up. So not only did we lose the game, I now have to call my boss, game 2 into my career, and explain what happened. So I go back to the hotel, I call Tom, I say, Tom, this is 2007. The cell phones, the videos, they just don't have the technology back then, so fortunately, there wasn't a record of it really outside of those that saw it. So I have to explain it to Tom. I said, Tom, I got bad news. We lost the game. We had a fight after the game, the dugout's cleared, and he's listening to everything, and he goes, Coach, did you win? And I said, no. I said, Tom, we got walked off. They scored 2 runs in the 9th, and we lost the game. And he said, no, Coach, did you win the fight? I said, I don't know, but we gave it a good effort. wouldn't you know, I get a text from Derek Alfonso before the Super Regionals when it looks like we're going to play at Southern Miss. And Derek Alfonso texts me, hey coach, throw the first punch from me. Fortunately, Miami won, and we got to host that beautiful Jim Patterson Stadium. 4 months later, we get to Omaha. We lose to Rice. We beat Mississippi State. And then we get eliminated by North Carolina. The bus pulls in to the hotel. And I'm getting off the bus. I got my bag. I got my bucket. My cell phone rings. Yes, sir. Come to my room. I said, Tom, I'm still in uniform. Pretty emotional. You want me to go shower? No, come to my room. Click. So I go up to his room, open up the door. Oh, it's a party. I mean, it's on. I mean, there's fans and friends and alumni, and they're having a good time, and they're celebrating. Celebrate others. And he takes me to a side room, sit down. The first thing out of his mouth, this is when I knew I hit the jackpot. What do we do to keep the assistants? I was an assistant for 14 years. Yes, I was the head coach, but in heart, I was an assistant. I had grinded it out, pouring my heart and soul for Chris Dominguez at Miami and Jimmy Bellinger at Clemson and Kyle Cheeseborough now at Houston. I tell those guys, be great to the game, but be great to the program you are at. You are the reason that program will succeed. And I had a boss who recognized that I had great assistants. And so I popped off 3 or 4 things from the top of my head, what I thought we need to do to keep the assistants. And he said, why don't you go shower up, come back, and celebrate with us. And I'm human, so you can see it probably on my face. As I'm getting up, I'm thinking, dude, what about the head coach? And he could read my eyes, and he said, Coach, don't worry about you. I will fight for you. He said, but you promised me this. You fight for that program. And for 19 years, I've been fighting my ass off. Which basically means, sorry, Josh, I'm a pain in the ass, okay? Is what it boils down to. But I do it because I love the program and I love the university. The next year, similar to some of the comments you heard, we play in the Athens Regional and we lose to Georgia. They go on to the national championship and he calls us on the bus and says, hey, Coach, do me a favor. Next time we go to a regional, stay in a nicer hotel. And I don't want to say the chain or the brand because I like the hotel brand. And I said, well, Tom, I think the NCAA sets that up. And Tony, it's Athens, Georgia. Like, where are you staying in Athens, Georgia? And so I said, yes, sir, I'll do my best. He goes, Coach, remember, celebrate those kids. Celebrate others. Be first class and treat them like that. So I hang up the phone and my assistants are with me on the bus and they're like, hey, tell me what Tom said. And Tom said we got to stay in a nicer hotel if we go to a regional. And so we're kind of looking at each other like, well, how do we do that? And one of my assistants goes, well, then let's just host. And so in 2009 we host, in 2010 we host, and this will be the last year, don't worry. 2011, we're having a tough year. And let me explain this about Tom so you understand. He doesn't micromanage. He lets you lead. He's there for you if you need him. But he is calling you twice a year. You're getting a phone call in baseball twice a year. And it's on the day you're playing your rival down the road. And I will not share the choice words that he uses in that conversation. But he makes it very clear, and he made it very clear in my tenure here as a coach. This game is important because it's important to the students, it's important to the fans, it's important to the city. And if you followed us for the last 19 years, you know I don't take that game or those two games lightly. But this particular phone call in 2011 is on a Sunday morning, and I'm in my locker. And if you come to our office, it's pretty open. You can walk down the hall, you can talk to the coaches. I'm very accessible. But I purposely go into the locker room in the back because I can hide. And so it's a Sunday morning, and I got my uniform on. I'm sitting in the chair, and we got thumped on Friday night by St. John's. I think we gave up 4 home runs to 1 guy. Sorry, Roger Williams, you're still the best. But we gave up 4 home runs to 1 guy. On Saturday, we get thumped. And we're one of the Big East bullies, and St. John's is now putting it on us. And it's a tough season in 2011. We lost the Dominguezes and the Adam Duvals and the Justin Marks. And so now the Phil Wunderlichs and all the great players. And man, we are young. And we got a bunch of freshmen. And Tom says, I see the phone ring Sunday morning, Tom Jurich. We're not playing our rival. Yes, sir. Because, Coach, pick your chin up. Get your shoulders back. Stick your chest out. And lead those young men. I know you're young. I know this is tough. But this is part of it. I believe in you. And he saw something maybe I didn't even see in that freshman class. Adam Engel, Chad Green, Cole Sturgeon, Jeffrey Thompson, a group of young men that catapulted us to 2012, a regional final. Lonnie, it is awful hot in Arizona. Don't like going to that regional. And in 2013, we bust through the door. You see, we're not a one-hit wonder. We've been to Omaha a 2nd time. And in 14, we're in Omaha a 3rd time. And I'll never forget that phone call. Because I walked into that team meeting room and I walked on the field that day and I thought, we're damn good. We're just young. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's not going to last long. And we went on to beat St. John's that day, who ended up winning the league, won a regional, and actually lost in a super regional that year. They were better than us. But on that day, we were better than them because I had a leader who saw that I was struggling. And I remember thinking, man, I hope he doesn't call me again because I don't want to be struggling. But I always took his call when we played our rival. I'll end with these 2 quick pieces. Tara Lynn, I'm pretty confident I know how he courted you. This is one of his greatest gifts. I want to do this better as a husband and as a father and as a coach. But this is what I always remember about him. When he's with you, he's present. He looks into your eyes. He looks into your soul. And all that matters is you and him. There's no cell phone. There's no watch phone. My wife got me that. It's cool technology, but I thought, there's no way I can have this on my watch. Like the distractions. He was with you. And it was you and him. And he made you feel like the most important person in the world. He always made you feel like the best coach in the country. And he had this gift that I've said publicly many times. He made you feel like your sport is what really matters. And he's so right. if you're Arthur Albiero, if you're Ken Lola, if you're Rex Akarma, if you're Mark Crabtree, your sport is what matters. It's what you do for a living. It's 365 days a year. You never leave the program, and the program never leaves you. And I never forget that about him and how he would make you feel. Wouldn't promise you everything. Wouldn't say, I can give you everything you ask for, but don't be afraid to ask. And when we renovated Jim Patterson Stadium, we stood on the field and he put his arm around me. And this is scary to say to a coach. What do you want to do next? Don't ask me that now. I got a list. That's a scary question. And I think it's a gift that we all should aspire to have. Not just a coach or an administrator or a leader. As I said, if you're a husband, if you're a wife, if you're a father, if you're a mother, if you're an employee, if you're a businessman, man, the gift of being where your feet are, of being present, and giving someone your full attention. I just pray that I do a better job of that. Last but not least, to honor Tom, after every win, we walk in the outfield, we flip a shirt to the MVP, we take a knee and pray, and after the prayer, as Julie Hermann mentioned, we say, gentlemen, remember, let's be humble and hungry. And I see it every time I go in the Traeger Center. Thank you to the Traeger family. I play in a beautiful facility, Jim Patterson Stadium. Thank you to the Patterson family. And I thank Tom for so many things. For encouraging me to hire Brian Mundorf, to allowing me the resources to get a Roger Williams when we didn't have the pool of resources to get him at the time. I thank him for so much. It's a blessing and it's an honor. And I believe the Jurich family knows how much we love you guys and how much this city and Card Nation loves you. Thank you, Tom. And as my current boss sits over here, I have to thank Josh. Thank you for Jeff Brom, and thank you for Pat Kelsey. Appreciate it.
That's great, Coach McDonnell. Thank you so much. You know, as you can tell from this celebration here today and with everyone here, for Tom, it's all about family, by blood and by marriage, but the UofL family as well. And Tom and Tara Lynn, you all, ever since we've known each other for 20 plus years, you all have always been so great to Rachel and me. Tom, I know you work closely with my dad, Ron, who I'm thrilled is here with me here today, helping to build a sports medicine practice that served athletes here at UofL and the entire city. And my family thinks the world of you. I know all of the UofL thinks that you and your family are part of our family forever. So friends, please join me in welcoming a member of the UofL family forever, the one and only Tom Jurich.
on Tuesday to come up here from South Carolina, and Eric said, "This is going to be really emotional." I said, "No. Carolyn says, can you handle it?" I said, "Oh yeah, this is a piece of cake." But this is not a piece of cake. I got off right here at the Cardinal Boulevard. It hit me hard. I haven't been back in 8 years. And this is a place I love dearly. President, I wish you so much luck. I've heard so many great things about you. I got to visit with Josh yesterday. You got a great team together, you and Josh. You're a great team, and I just wish all of you the best of luck. This has never been a job to me. This was never a job, ever. You know, we had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but that's the world we live in. And I just, I said that I'm not good at writing notes and all that because I can't read. So I said I do this one. I want to speak to this group because I want to speak from my heart. I want you to know that this is all coming from my heart. There was never one day that I went to work. It was my passion. And it was my goal to see this university turn into something extremely special. I must thank Dr. Shoemaker, who hired me, President Ramsey, who you all know, did a marvelous job here, and we wish you nothing but the best. You're a wonderful institution, and I know you're going to do. I just hear nothing but great things about you. So, congratulations to you, Mayor Greenberg. Craig's a 10. You're just a 10, and I just can't thank you enough for doing this. You and your people, the city, and my favorite Traegers were Bernard and Steve and Scott, but I've got to know the best Traeger is over there, Kevin, and I really appreciate everybody doing this. This took a lot of work, and I know it, and I did not expect it. I do not take it for granted, and I'm extremely humbled for it. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this. I just want to. One thing I do want to correct President Bradley. I mean, usually when you correct the president, you get fired, but I'm fired anyway, so it doesn't matter. President Bradley, you said all these nice things about me, and that was very kind. But as Josh knows, as my whole family knows, this is we. This is a we thing. Please, people, everybody understand that. And my dad taught me the greatest lesson of all time. My dad was a brilliant businessman, but he always told me, you hire great people, and you get the hell out of the way. And that's what I always tried to live by. I tried to hire the best people and get the hell out of the way. And let them do their jobs. And as you can see, it's a phenomenal group of coaches that we've had for at least my 20 years of tenure. And I know now I'm just so pleased with what they have now with all the coaches and what Jeff is doing, and Coach Kelsey, you're a 15, you're not a 10. and we had so much fun watching you this year. And it's just so great to have Louisville basketball back. So great. I'll just tell you one just little quick story about that is I'd never met Coach. I'd never met Coach until today. So I've got an 11-year-old grandson right here, Jeff, who's really, he's 35, actually. But my buddy over here is great friends with your son, and they play on their same little basketball team and go to school together. He just said, Papa, Coach Kelsey is a real deal. He says, you're the real guy. And Coach, that's the best compliment you can get. Forget the coaching part. If you're a real guy, that's what matters. So congrats and good luck to you. I love my family dearly. Anybody that knows me knows that's the most important thing in my life is my family. And I got the 4 wonderful, wonderful children, 8 wonderful grandchildren. There can't be a more blessed man on this earth than me because of the family I have. Everybody knows Tara Lynn. Tara Lynn was the greatest ally, the best friend, the best mentor. And believe me, she was my mentor. She you know, I'd come home and I was blown up all over the place, and she always brought me back into the rails. Could have never done it. In Northern Arizona, whether it was Colorado State or was Louisville, could have never done it without her. And we did this together. It wasn't me. Please, never me. It was her. I love you dearly, Mitch. And the rock of all of our lives, and so many that I'm the most proud of that is here today, is my beautiful mother. My mother's My mom was that person growing up. My mom's going to be 96 next month. And my mom was the one person in our household always that she never had a bad day. She never had a bad day. And, you know, I had a lot of them, but she never had a bad day. And she always kept us going, whether it was my dad or my sister, we always were going on the right trajectory. And I learned so many life lessons from you, Mom, and I'll never forget it. Never, ever forget it. And you're going to live forever. And I love it. And I love that. I love it. And to have your mother here, Craig, this is spectacular, but to have your mother here is nothing's better. The one thing that I always wanted when I came here was to make this a family. Our department was a family. And employees, that's not a good word to be employees. We don't have employees. There's no I and that. We're all we together. We're all together. It didn't matter who we were. We're all together. And we did everything together. And you know, you hire somebody as special as Julie, you can see Julie. I mean, Julie's the best that ever lived. Julie's the best that ever lived. And I can't even look at you, Julie. I can't look at you right now. I'm sorry. I can't do it. But Julie bailed me out 448,000 times. And she won't ever say that. She always gives me this, hey, he did this, he did. No. When I met the very first person I've ever met in the city was the mayor's dad. I was at me and Carolyn just got in like the day before. We were trying to move the family here in LA. I mean, we were invited to a holiday party at Dr. Charlie Ball's house. And so nobody knew me. I didn't know anybody. Me and Carolyn were, it's December. I'm standing outside. It's cold as hell. And your dad comes to see me, Craig. And he says, how can I help? I said, well, he introduced himself, and he was working at Jewish Hospital at the time, and blah, 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 and we got talking, and I said, I told him how important to me the wellness in sports is, you know, the training, sports training, and I said, I don't think we're too good at that over there at the university yet. I hadn't dug in yet. I'll never forget that. You brought Joanne Berryman into the conversation, and you said, this was a Saturday night party, and you said, can you meet me 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock Monday morning down to the Jewish Hospital? I didn't know how to get there. I didn't even know where I was. So I got there, and I go to that beautiful place, and we sit down, and we devised a plan that you were going to be our sports provider, sports medicine provider. And like I said, I know when I'm overmatched. I got out of that deal quick and turned it over to Julie, and she built it into the most world-class sports medicine program in the country. And you know, it's easy to say. That's easy to say. Oh, we were the best. We were this. That was the best. I mean, we had UCLA and Michigan's, and everybody wanted to come see how we did this. But it was all because of Julie. It was all because of Julie, and it was world-class level. And you also, if you remember, the only thing you really cared about, you care less about us winning or losing. All Mr. Greenberg cared about was you fix academics. That's all he cared about. And I'll tell you what, that meeting hit hard to me. That hit hard. So again, what do you do when you're the boss? You turn it over to Julie. Julie went, I said, you find us the greatest academic person in America, because we got to fix this thing here. And Julie went and found the greatest in Marvin Mitchell. And Marvin Mitchell, without a doubt, and not just the academics, what he did, what he has done for people. And I can't think enough. You know, to all our coaches, the greatest. You know what? Julie's right. I take a bullet for. I took a lot of bullets, by the way, but I would for all my coaches because they're the heart and soul of this program. They were the heart and soul. I look over here and I can see Coach Prado, who's one of my dearest friends in the world. And Coach Prado is way more than a baseball coach. Him and his wife Pam are just some of the dearest friends you could ever have. But Coach Prado had a great vision for this place too. Before the place even had a vision, he had the vision. And him and Scotty Davenport, the two closest guys you could ever have met. I mean, to help you navigate through all these problems. And we got it all done. We got it done. But I can assure you one thing: we had academics taken care of. And I know how much that meant to you. You see this wonderful street, all these facilities. I see Larry Clark there, and I hope you all know how much he did. Larry Clark was the reason they're all built. Kathleen Smith, who did a marvelous job for Dr. Ramsey, Kathleen Smith has her fingerprints on all this stuff. But she was like me. She was just exactly like me. She says, I'm gonna call Larry. And Larry got it always done. And thank you for everything, Larry. This city owes Larry a huge debt. This year owes Larry a huge debt. I look at this crowd, it's just, this is so overwhelming to me, and I thank you all so much. I just promise you that I gave you everything I had for 20 years. I gave you 110%. My number one goal, though, is to make this a destination. And you're right. And I think Coach Mack said it, or Julie said it, I'm not sure who said it. I wanted this to be a destination. I didn't want this to be a stepping stone for anybody. Granted, we had a lot of great things happen. We had a lot of tough things happen. You know that. We had a lot of downs too. But I wanted this to be a destination because this is such a special, special, special place. And it's hard. This is hard. This is hard. And I wanted my coaches to believe in that. It wasn't a myth. I love the sound of these airplanes. I love this. This is special. This brings back the best memories. But I wanted our coaches to know that they never had to worry. They never had to look behind them. They never had to look behind them. Watch their back. Nobody. So at first, I wasn't going to play any games. They knew where I stood at all times. They knew where Julie stood. And I wanted our coaches to know they had full support. I wanted all our administration, everybody on this campus to know that they had our full support. We really wanted to be a big part of this campus, President. That's what I think we did. And your predecessor, Jim Ramsey, he really believed in that. He wanted us all to be together, and it worked. And it worked. And it's a special place with unbelievable heights you're going to achieve. This place is so poised for the future, it's unbelievable. And we wish you nothing but the best, both of you, Josh and Dr. It's going to be fun to watch it. It's going to be fun to do it. And I just want everybody to know in this little gathering here that without Mr. Patterson, right there, I love to death. I mean, I love him. He's one of my own. He's one of my own. And Dr. Lynn, how do anybody thank Dr. Lynn and Cindy enough? I mean, it's impossible. Traeger family, world class. And I don't know how many of you knew Bernard Traeger, but Bernard was my favorite. They know that. And so whenever I want anything, I just go to Bernard because he's retired. And Steve and Scott are running the joint. And Bernard, yeah, sounds great, yeah. So Steve would come in and Scott, what, dude? What did he promise you now? But that's why you see the Traeger family everywhere, because they have a wonderful passion for this place. But I can't single everybody out. Cheryl Snyder, I see you sitting right there, and when I went through my darkest time at this university, he represented me and did a hell of a job. You ever have any problems? Tell Cheryl. His wife Jessica, who was our president of our board of trustees, did a marvelous job. Sam and Bonnie Rector, Harry and Nancy Jones, the late Harry and Nancy Jones. They're the ones who got me. Sam and Bonnie and Harry and Nancy, 4 people that convinced me and Terrell to take this job. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. It is so special. And Kenny Klein, you've never worked for me. You've always been a brother. You've always been a brother. You and Donna and beautiful Brady and Carly. I can't talk about Kenny because I will start. This is special. And me and Terrell had an opportunity to go up. Coach Patino brought us up at his last game when they won the championship in Madison Square Garden. And it was quite an experience. First of all, I was scared to death because he put her right next to him on the floor. And I didn't think that was going to end well, but it did. Coach Kelsey, Coach says after practice on Friday, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go to a beer. What else are you going to do? And so I said, I want to go to one of the dive bars in the neighborhood. Just one of those neighborhood bars that you see on TV. Said, okay, of course he knew where to go. And so we went. And me and Coach and Shane Beamer, Kenny had him up. Shane Beamer wanted to come up and see how Coach does a practice plan. Coach Shane Beamer's the coach at South Carolina football. But he wanted to see how Coach ran a practice and that. So he came with us. But Coach Kelsey, I'm going to tell you something. For 20 minutes, Rick Pitino talked about you and the job you're doing here and how proud he was of you. You all know I'm biased. I'm very biased to Coach Pitino. I love him to death. But Coach Pitino's the master. And he said this guy is the real deal. The real deal. So that was great to see, buddy. Great to see. I know I talked to Josh yesterday. I know you guys are trying to work something out to play. That'd be great. That'd be great for the whole city. I'm going to end it real quick and just simply as I began, just thank you all. Because without the fan base, this school's nothing. This school's nothing. It's nothing. And I told Eric the other day driving, he goes, what's one of your best memories? Well, Sugar Bowl was a great memory. You know, what were we, 15 point? I don't know what kind of big. We're a big underdog. We were playing number 2 Florida, and we walked into that dome and it was all red. The whole thing was red. And Florida had about 18 people there. They thought they were going to roll over us and all that. And that president of the Sugar Bowl came around the suite and he said, Tom, he pulled me outside. He said, I just want to tell you, without red, we would be dead. Meaning that bowl game would have failed badly. Not only did we fill that building and fill the streets of New Orleans and everybody had a wonderful time, it put a stamp on this program. It put a stamp on this program. And it was all because of this fan base. It's all because you put us all on your shoulders and rode us through it. And I hope you never quit doing that. I hope it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. The support continues to grow. You've got everything in front of you. Everything's in front of you. The ACC is a perfect spot for us. College athletics is a crazy place right now. Josh got a tough job in front of him. He knows it. It's good. You're going to do great things. You're not going to just make it. You're going to do great things. To all of my coaches and people that I've worked with, my administrative team, I've said it many times around the country anywhere I go, I would have put our administrative team against anybody in America, hands down. Hands down. And to John Ramsey, my dear friend, and your beautiful wife Jill, thank you for all you did. All you did. You've been a loyal friend for 27 years, buddy. And you always talk. Everybody likes the easy thing to throw out. I'll be in a foxhole with him. Well, there are very few you want to be in a foxhole with. I'm gonna take him though, for sure. John's always been there. He's an extremely loyal human being, an extremely loyal human being. And you always stood for the right things, buddy. Kenny Klein, you're right behind him. And I can't say any more about Kenny. You know what I think about Kenny. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. And thank you so much for having my family with me. That's the greatest gift anybody could ever have. Appreciate y'all.